Oh, so you said some interesting developments.
Yeah. Oh, let me see if I can.
What?
Okay. It.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The since the interview hasn't been posted yet,
Right,
I
unfortunately.
actually thought it was amusing that before.
Yeah, you.
Okay, during the podcast, we talked about the fact that I was not on YouTube. Now I'm back on YouTube.
Right,
I
right.
have seen Yamato Takaru now.
You might. Oh, okay. Oh, nice. You saw the Orochi eight-headed dragon. Yeah, that movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so what were your thoughts?
So,
Mm-hmm.
well, it was actually pretty good. I mean, I've always liked the sword and sandals. Not really the right term, but the
Feudal Japan,
yeah,
like
that
yeah,
that
medieval.
era style
Mm-hmm.
film. I always liked those.
Mm-hmm. I need to watch more of those. I haven't exposed myself enough to those kind of movies. I
Oh, I
assume
love those kind of movies.
I assume those kind of like samurai type movies, they're kind of like the equivalent of westerns, in that they're trying to like
Yeah, pretty much.
go back to like this lawless age where it's like every man for himself, and but then you have this element of like honor and mixed in.
Yeah, with handfuls of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got started on them because of the Yokai Monster series. It
Mm-hmm.
was like, and that just sort of bloomed my interest in these
Mm-hmm.
samurai epics, and I just love those kinds of movies.
I see. And what do you thought of the actual suits used in the film?
Those were actually really, really good. The only problem that I had was and I cannot remember the name of it to save my life. The big statue thing at the end of it.
Uh, uh,
Uh,
the big shiny silver guy.
yeah.
I think his name
Uh,
was Iku Sagami.
okay. Well, the only problem I had with that thing's design, I love that design,
Uh huh.
but the eye holes on that thing are ridiculously obvious.
Let's see. I'm gonna look for him. Kusagami.
It's the eye visor part. I mean, it's obviously what it is. I mean, it is an eye visor, but I mean, it's just a little too obvious.
Let's see here. Let's see, trying to find a good picture of this guy. Okay, here's a figure I found of him. Okay, I'm going to let's see. As soon as I get the image. Okay, I'm going to send this link to you, and maybe it'll be noticeable here. There we go.
And anytime it decides, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I mean, look at the front of the face.
Okay.
The part for the eye holes. I mean, it's like I said, to me, it's a bit too obvious, but
You mean
it
like,
is what it is. You know, it's a giant suit of armor, so it matches the design.
are you referring to like, oh, that you mean that like that black visor?
Yeah, the
Okay.
Zaram eye, as I like to call it.
Zaram. What is Zaram? Sorry. Zaram.
You haven't seen Zaram?
I'm
Oh my god, you don't know
sorry.
what you're missing out on.
Let's see. I'm gonna see what I can find on Google Images. I'm finding a whole bunch
Uh,
of stuff at unrelated stuff. Let's see.
you'll probably get a lot of the anime. Probably. Oh no, I.
Is it
Okay. Did you
Z? Is
do?
it Zaram?
No, Zeiram.
Oh, Zei. Okay.
Dude,
Oh,
you so
okay.
gotta
I
watch
see.
these movies.
Okay, I see it now. He's got that little. I always refer to it, even though I've never seen Battlestar Galactica, I always saw it as the Cylon eye.
Yeah, that's a good approximation to it.
Okay, yeah. So is that thing supposed to be closed? Like that black visor eye hole thing? Is that supposed to be closed? Like that's not supposed to be where the eyes are coming from? Because I always thought that's where like the creature's eyes are supposed to be. Or is his
They're talking about the thing from Yamato Takaru or Zaram?
Yamato Takaru?
Well, since it's essentially just a big suit of armor, it is where the eyes are supposed to be. It's
Mm-hmm.
my own take on designs. It just,
Mm-hmm.
to me, it seems like they should have tried a little bit harder. Like maybe put like a like Zoram's got the Cylon type eye.
Yeah.
If that was back there, it would probably be more aesthetically what I would do.
Hmm. So he should be having like some red light coming out of that black gap.
Or some kind of a light. Just something to cover up the fact that it is, in fact, the eye hole.
Okay, okay. So were you able to see the suit actor's face behind in that eye through that eye hole?
No, it was never obvious, but
Mm-hmm.
to me it was obvious what it was.
Okay.
Because I'm a suit guy. To
Right.
me, I notice things.
Right, right. That's interesting. Like, it's obvious that that's where the eyes are coming from, but when I see this as like, it's a humanoid figure, so of course that's where the eyes would be, sort of? I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, it's just my own weird.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I understand it. I'm trying to see it through your eyes. How you would have an issue with how this thing sees through its eyes.
No, it's not how it sees through its eyes. It's the fact that it's obviously where the suit actor is seeing from.
Okay, okay. Did you ever get sort of like a...
me,
Right.
well, I forget entirely what I was going to say, so go ahead.
I was going to say, did you ever get like a Heisei Mechagodzilla vibe from this design?
Very much so. But it works well for the character.
Like, it's like, I know it's a suit of armor, but it has a very mecha sort of vibe to him. Like, it should be teaming up with the Megazord to fight Lord Zed's monsters. It's time to use the Ikusagami Zord, the Ikusagami Mechazord, or the Yamato. no, the Yamato Megazord.
I would pay to see that, actually.
Wow, I can only imagine what it must be like to create this type of suit in real life. Like, you got.
I pondered that as well. I mean, I've always wanted to build like an armor like that, but I've never had the materials to test it.
Mm-hmm. When you mentioned how this was like the one suit that you had like the major issue with, do you remember the Rock Monster?
Yeah.
Did he ever felt like his arms were disproportionately smaller?
Not so much the fact that I was just kind of off-put at the fact that the arms themselves became the weapons.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I get it worked well for what the character was.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that my own personal taste, it's like a monster with a weapon for an arm just seems really weird to me.
Huh. Let's see. Yeah, I can sort of get that right. Yeah. Because the only really real exceptions we have are like Gigan and Megalon. Oh, we do have Tyrant from Ultraman Taro, but he looks really weird with those weapon arms.
Yeah, Gigan and Megalon I can deal with because Gigan's just got hooks or blades, given them incarnation. And Megalon's drill arms. After I found an anatomical diagram that explained how those worked.
Yeah,
I can accept those. Tyrant is a completely different matter.
Yeah,
because I know he's like this big fan favorite monster, but I just look at it and it's like that's really kind of dumb.
Yeah, he looks like he just like his hand, he kind of looks like Captain Hook, where it's like both his hands were chopped off, and then someone glued a mace, a Morning Star mace, and a pickaxe to replace his hands.
I really have no words for that design. If it had different arms, I'd probably like it.
Yeah.
But because he's got those weapon arms, I cannot like him.
Yeah, like, is he supposed to be one of those... I've only heard this concept used once in Ultraman Mebius, where creatures like Vakashim, and I think Tyrant, they're referred to as super beasts as opposed to kaijus, or just regular monsters. I'm wondering, is Tyrant supposed to be a special case? Like, is he supposed to be like an artificial creation, like Vakashim or any of the other super beasts?
Well, all of them were artificial. I mean, in the Ultraman Ace, every single monster was an artificial creation.
Oh, okay.
And then whenever they got around to Tyrant, it was they amalgamated literally the body parts of different monsters in sort of a Frankenstein's monster kind of thing.
Uh-huh. Oh, I see.
So he's not really a natural kaiju. He is a made thing.
Oh, I see. I see. Kuma so.
You're talking to an Ultraman nut, so I'm going to know this stuff.
Oh, of course, of course. I was hoping for that. See, I think I found the name of this rock monster. I think it's Kuma Sogami. Kuma Sogami.
Okay, and when you do find a picture of that thing, look at that thing closely and tell me if that does not make you think of the big monster from Power Rangers Turbo, the movie.
Ah, yeah, because the rock monster with like the lava forming like this, the gap, filling the gaps in between.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
like the first time I saw that, it's like that's the thing from Power Rangers.
so I sent you the image. I think I guess my issue with this suit is that I feel like, let's see, it's hard to describe it, but the suit looks taller, looks a lot taller than the suit actor himself. So his arms look like they're positioned lower than where the arms should be. It's like he has.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it should have more like a Goro type appearance with another set of arms
on top. Yeah.
But yeah, but you know, when you're trying to mess with the proportions of human anatomy for a suit, you've got to deal with the limitations of that.
Right.
So that doesn't really quite bug me as much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, for what it is, I mean, the design itself is kind of nice to look at. You know, for me.
Right. Mm-hmm. Like, I know they were trying to, they put the monster's head much higher than the human's head. Like, I'm assuming, like, where that, it's hard to tell in this image, but he has this little, like, jewel or emblem at the base of his neck. I'm assuming that's where, like, the suit actor's head is, around that general area. So they gave him, like, a much taller head, or a much taller, physique, and they gave him a much greater chest. And so he has this massive chest, these massive shoulders, and then these human-sized arms directly underneath the shoulders.
Yeah, I can get your qualm with the suit. The arms do look small, but like I said, it's the only thing that really strikes me is just the fact that his hands hold weapons.
Yeah. Okay. I forgot. I know one of his hands like turned into like sharp arrows, I think, and did the other one turn into like a bow?
Yeah.
Okay, so he forms his own bow and arrow stick. I see.
Yeah, I can allow that for Deborah. I just can't allow it for this.
Uh-huh. What were your thoughts on the 8-head on Orochi himself?
Who did?
Like, I found this one picture on just now, and I see like quite a lot of strings for each of the heads. So it's quite an accomplishment that they were able to like pull off this like complicated design. It's like King Ghidorah, but like I assume this was more work for them than on King Ghidorah.
Oh, you know it was.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the behind-the-scenes footage of Biollante?
Biollante? Oh, no, actually. I have yet to watch the special features on my Blu-ray.
Okay, the strings you see operating Orochi's heads,
yeah,
that's like a third of what they use to operate Biollante.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there is a ridiculous number of cords attached to that suit. It was like, damn, that many strings? Wow.
Man, it's enough to make Geppetto lose his mind.
A lot of pianos will never play now.
Many pianos were sacrificed during the making of this film. Our hearts go out to them.
My dad weeps because he loves pianos.
Right now, Mozart and Beethoven are rolling in their graves.
And then you get the people like me going, we don't care about that crap. We want to see monsters move.
Like, the loss of these classical instruments shall be sorely missed. We don't care!
I might not be that rude about it, but yeah, that's pretty much my line of thought.
It reminds me of like this moment from one of the earlier episodes of Family Guy where Peter finds out that had he never married Lois, that this whole world would have been so much better. Then he finds out like the Grim Reaper lists off a bunch of people who died because of him changing the past. And Brian, his dog, was like, "Oh, come on, Peter, you can't marry Lois." I don't know who any of those people are.
I haven't seen that episode in so long. I think
Yeah.
I saw it when it aired, and that was it.
It's probably one of my favorite episodes of this series. Nowadays, whenever I just see a new Family Guy episode, I kind of feel like a beaten housewife where I just keep going back to see the new episodes, just hoping they were good as the older ones, and I'm always left disappointed and annoyed. It's really hard, like, to watch the show now because every character has been turned into an incredible asshole or like an unlikable jerk, especially with Brian. And then my sister showed me Bob's Burgers, and wow, that show was like so much better than I initially thought it was going to be. Especially after going to, like, my sister wanted to go to the Bob's Burgers panel at Comic-Con, and going to that panel and seeing all the the voice actors, and seeing my sister's excitement really got me into the show.
Well, of course, there's a personal connection there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Also, it feels like with have you ever seen Bob's Burgers?
No, I haven't had satellite for like the past 8 years, man.
Oh, so no Fox then.
No.
Okay. Yeah, Bob's Burgers kind of feels really refreshing in that it doesn't try to clone The Simpsons by having unintelligent dad, the naggy wife, the troublemaking son, and the books like the bookworm daughter, and the baby. It feels very fresh, and it has that kind of like sense of like when you watch an episode, it's like watching like one of the earlier classic episodes of The Simpsons, where it's like it feels really fresh and original, and has a lot of energy behind it.
Well, it's one of the problems with like the new Family Guys and The Simpsons itself is that it's just been going on so long that they run out of ideas. So they're like really trying to make sure they come up with something.
Have you heard about what The Simpsons have come up with once they're done with the Simpsons Family Guy crossover? They're going to be doing the Simpsons Futurama crossover, and then they're going to be doing a crossover where the Simpsons meet like the older versions of themselves.
Okay, the one where they cross over with Futurama, I am so watching that one.
Yeah. Now I'm not sure what they mean by like the older versions of themselves. Are they like referring to the older versions from like the Tracy Ullman show when they were just a bunch of animated shorts, or do they mean like the early seasons where the animation wasn't as good?
They did the Tracy Ullman one. That one would be more interesting because that's like the concepts for the characters, and that one to me would be more intriguing.
Yeah, it's like they were concepts. So what would it be like to have a whole like half-hour episode of these characters, of these concepts being established into actual characters?
I want to know what it'd be like to see Hank Hill meet the guy who he was based off of from Beavis and Butthead.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting. There was this weird moment. It's like, I know Family Guy has had this tradition where every episode or the beginning of every season they would parody an intro to a popular show. And there's this one moment where Hank Hill dreams that he was in like the Family Guy. No, it starts off as like a little American Dad Family Guy crossover, but then something goes horribly wrong, and then Peter wakes up and he's like, "Oh, it's just a dream." Then he realizes Hank Hill is with him, and then Hank Hill wakes up and he thought it's like, "That's weird. Like, why was I in like the Family Guy world?" And then they proceed to copy the King of the Hill intro with the Family Guy characters.
I'm gonna have to Google that later.
Yeah, it's like Hank was like, I wanted to know if the adults can understand the baby.
Did you ever watch Drawn Together?
No, actually, I was unfortunately too young to have experienced that show. Well, I've always heard interesting things about it.
It is a fantastic show to watch if you're just into, like, nods and homages to other shows. I mean, that show is chock full of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I watched through at least the first 2 seasons several times just trying to catch all the background references to other shows.
Mm-hmm. So it kind of seems like for those, it seems like the show comes off as like a show that was made for fans of animation in general.
It truly is.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way for me to actually describe the show.
Mm-hmm.
If you can actually sit through the entirety of the first episode, you can surely make it through the rest.
Yeah, I feel I can do that. I mean, I understand it's for a mature audience, but hey, if I can sit through something like Family Guy, then I can pretty much sit through anything. I think.
Oh, Drawn Together pushes it a lot further. If you're a bit sensitive towards certain material, don't watch the Drawn Together movie, The Movie, because that is just full blown. They do everything because it's a movie and they know they can get away with it.
Like, do they go? Is like the South Park movie where they do the right amount of going there, or do they kind of like go too far? In your opinion?
For me, it verged on going too far. It never quite got too far because I'm sort of jaded when it comes to my sense of humor.
Right.
But for like the average viewer, I guarantee it went way too far. And the show itself, I mean, it definitely crosses the line a few times. But I mean, if you can just, you sort of have to have Dylan's outlook.
Yeah.
Because Dylan's not affected by anything.
Right. Right. Yeah, all right. I feel like I can totally get behind this. It's like, come on, Drawn Together, do your worst. And then at the end of the show's, going through the show's run, I'm sitting there and huddle in the corner, going, the horror.
Why did I watch this show? He's a madman. A madman.
Damn you, Jacob. And there was one thing I wanted to bring up with you. Did I ever mention to you this Kickstarter project, Volkira?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know that it got successfully funded?
Oh, booyah!
Yeah. I think it needed $9,000 and it got like $10,080 something dollars.
Oh, goody.
Yeah. Let's see. I know, like, if you donated like $60, you would have gotten the figure itself, and unfortunately, I didn't have the time. I didn't have like the. I didn't have the. I didn't have the what do you call it? Expendable cash for that. For that, especially when it's like. I know there are a lot of people who appreciate figures, Shogun warrior style figures with limited articulation, but for me to spend $60 on that sort of figure, didn't really sit right with me. But that was just like me, a personal thing. And
well, if it would have been a officially licensed product off of, like, say, Get a Robo, would you have paid that price?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I think most likely, yeah. Although, wait, now that I think about it, no, yeah, I think so, because I remember at my comic book shop, I happened to come across a model kit for Getter Robo. It was like a model kit from the I guess from the 70s or 80s, so this was like those old school model kits where this wasn't like those Gundam model kits where they had like a ton of posability. This is like more like a statue-esque kind of model kit.
Sort of along the lines of like the Shogun Warriors monogram figures.
Where those were the ones where not even the arms moved?
The Getter 2 that I have, the arms do move, but that's pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah, this model kit didn't do that, and so I just passed on it.
I would have bought that sucker up in a heartbeat. But that's just me, you know.
Maybe if I find it, I'll buy it and I'll just send it to you as a gift.
It works for me.
I was like, This deserves to belong in a home of a true mecha fan. I cannot leave it here collecting dust, because that's pretty much what it was. It was just covered in dust, and like not even the store owner, like or the store employee even knew it was there.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
I just feel sorry for the figure.
I know, especially when like Getter Robo, in my opinion, it's like the most underrated mecha when it comes to like American mecha like fan base.
I think Raideen would probably fit there.
Really, because I know I personally never heard of Raideen until I researched Shogun Warriors, but don't the people who grew up with Shogun Warriors remember Raideen fondly? I mean, he was in the Marvel Comics Shogun Warriors.
It depends entirely on the fan you talk to.
I see.
It's like some of them, like at G-Fest, Paul Gavins, the guy who I work for, he's a big Shogun Warriors fan, but he really wasn't sure who Combattler V was. It's like, really? He was like one of the main ones in the comic. And you're like, yeah. So, yeah, it depends on the fan you run across.
Oh yeah, Combattler V. I remember him mostly because of one of the Super Robot Wars games that I played, and he was one of the first playable characters in story mode. With Raideen, wasn't he like the very first transforming robot? Like the first robot to transform into like a vehicle mode of some sort?
No, that was... I hate it when I have brain farts. Oh.
I could have sworn I read it somewhere, but I'll check it out again.
I mean, he might be, but I really want to say that goes to a different robot.
Let's see. Let's see.
Okay, what year did Gold Light Hand come out?
I'll check that out. And with Gold Light Hand, I remembered him because I was first introduced to him through Tatsunoko versus Capcom for the Wii, and he was a
awesome game just because you can play as both Karas and Kasharn.
Oh, that game also introduced me to Tekkaman, and I loved him. Let's see. Gold Lighton was 81.
Okay, yeah.
Brave Raideen was 75. Let's see. The Brave Raideen series is renowned in Japan as the first to include a giant robot whose origins are mystical rather than scientific. Raideen itself is in fact portrayed as a sentient being. Raideen is also historically noteworthy for being one of the first transforming giant robots. Goldar from Ambassador Magma was an earlier character, although Goldar's transformation from robot to rocket ship was not a detailed mechanical transformation. I see.
I'm still going to chalk this one up to Goldar.
Yeah.
Or no, I'm wrong. Magma.
Like you're giving in to the the American naming. He's like, no, I must stay faithful, just like with Transor Z. I mean Mazinger Z.
Oh, that is one of the most fantabulous arguments Rocky and me will have is over monsters' names.
Really?
Yeah, it's like the Japanese pronounce them a certain way, and to me, that's the country they come from. Obviously, they know how they're pronounced.
Right.
So I will always give the monster the Japanese name, like Gyro. Every time I mention Gyro, Rocky's like, who? Like the Green Gargantua. Like, it's not that hard.
Like, what does he refer to the Green Gargantua as?
The Green Gargantua.
Oh, well, that's weird because, wait, I've never listened to the English dub, but do they just call them the Green and Brown Gargantuas?
Yeah, they don't have names. They just identify them as the Gargantuas.
Oh, that's weird. That's strange. Let's see. It's kind of interesting when you're trying to go by you as like a fan of Japanese media. You want to stay faithful to the to the original source material's names. But then you have something where it's like so iconic in America that it's hard to go to the Japanese name when you know it by the American name for so long, like Voltron or Speed Racer or the Megazord. Or do you have?
Well, the one that really gets me is the monster Garamon from Ultra Q.
Mhm.
Because the first time I had ever heard of this thing, it was Galamon. And so for me, that's like the one that I will use the American name, just because it was the one that I knew when I was growing up. So even I, who prefer to use the Japanese names, I do give exceptions and I do use the American names just because they're what I know. And some of them are a hell of a lot easier to pronounce in English than they are in Japanese.
What I think didn't Astro Boy had a different name in Japan?
Yes, it did. I cannot think of it. I will Google that one. You've Googled enough. I'll Google this one.
Okay, I'll let you this one. I'll lend you this one.
Astro Boy. Doo-doo-doo. Come on. Come on. Okay. Mighty Atom.
Mighty Atom.
Yeah, Tetsuwan Atom.
Tetsuwan Atom. Let's see. Yeah, I think I might stick with Astro Boy only because, I don't know, maybe just personally Astro Boy sounds more iconic or something. But then you had like Gigantor and Tetsujin, and Gigantor has definitely been like an incredibly popular name that, even though I never saw the show growing up, I always heard that name in some way, shape, or form. Yet I always tend to stick with Tetsujin 28 because, I don't know, for me that seems like a much cooler name than Gigantor.
I kind of flip-flop back and forth. I mean, I grew up with Gigantor. But, I do love the sound of the name Tetsujin 28 just because it sounds so testosterone-filled. So, it's like, Tetsujin 28. Or Niju Hachiko.
Yeah.
Which, if we ever do get to do the review for the Tetsujin 28 movie, we need to sing the Gigantor theme.
Oh, yeah. Gigantor. Ready to fight for right against wrong.
Gigantor.
Did you ever watch the New Adventures of Gigantor?
No. It's one of those things where I never managed to get a hold of it.
Ah, I see. I love the Japanese version of that anime. Like Tetsujin, Niju Hachiko. And you had this rocking 80s guitar solo going on in the background.
Oh yes, I've listened to the theme many a time.
Yeah. It's like compared to like the other 80s Tetsujin FX, the first 80s Tetsujin sounds much more like badass.
Although I do like the design from FX.
Yeah. Although I guess my only problem would be that it's kind of it kind of strays too far away from what makes Tetsujin.
Yeah, I agree. It's just that as far as a redesign, it is a good redesign.
Yes, definitely. I love the design itself.
Although Tetsujin really does look better when he's shaped like a Tylenol.
Yeah. So what was I going to say? Oh yeah. Are you familiar with this thing called this web series on Screw Attack called Death Battle?
Yes, I've watched every episode.
Oh, nice. Have you heard about the latest matchup that they're going to do?
Yes, it's an odd matchup, but I look forward to seeing how they plan on pulling that one off.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of disappointed with the choices that they picked, because like mostly when they tend to, I definitely want to talk about this in the next episode of the SOS, where they always pair up two iconic characters that either have something in common or like they're two characters that fans have really wanted to see go at it, like Godzilla and Gamera, Mario and Sonic,
Goku and Superman.
But with the Tiger Zord and Epion Gundam, it's like I don't really see what could have led. Okay, I can see it to some point, but for like a mecha fan, like who knows more about the genre than most people, I hope that doesn't sound like oh, what do you call it? Narcissistic, but it feels like there could have been so many other choices than just these two. Because I guess I can understand that Power Rangers and Gundam Wing were like the two shows that introduced children of the '90s to the mecha genre. I being a prime example. But it's like, and I guess in their logic, the Green Ranger or the White Ranger was like the sixth Ranger, and this was his second mech. And for the character from Gundam Wing, Zex Marquis, the Epion Gundam was his second mech, and he's kind of like the sixth Gundam pilot.
Yeah.
So I can sort of see how they would have these things in common, but I don't know. It feels like they really don't. They don't
mesh well.
Yeah, they don't mesh well. Like they're two. Tommy and Zex Marquis are two completely different characters. Like one's the leader of the team, the other is the main protagonist's rival slash enemy. And while the Tiger Zord, he's like, you know, a good guy mech. The Epion Gundam, he's technically not the sixth Gundam because there were like three other Gundams before him, before his appearance, I believe. Like the Wing Zero, the Death Side Hell, the Ultron. It's just like, yeah, I just don't, I don't see a connection between the two, and I can think of like so many other like mech battles that would have been more deserving of a death battle scenario.
Well, therein lies the issue, though, is that there are just so many mechs. You know, I think they just boiled it down because Gundam Epion is very familiar to anime fans, and then, of course, the White Tiger Zord is very familiar to tokusatsu fans. So I think that might be why they decided to go that route, was because you had something that was familiar to both sides of the coin.
Because
I'm not going to agree with their choices, but, you know.
Right, and I feel like if you're gonna really pull off, if you're gonna do a Power Rangers Megazord and a Gundam, I feel you know, a Gundam versus Megazord sounds like a perfect idea. Yeah, like the world's most popular, or you know, debatably the world's most popular anime giant robot franchise fighting America's most popular live action giant robot franchise.
Now, the battle that they should have chosen would have been Mechagodzilla 74 against the Dragon Zord.
Yes, yes.
That would have been such an even match, too.
I mean, I like that battle that they did, that James Rolfe pulled off with Megazord versus Showa Mechagodzilla. Did you ever saw that?
Uh-uh.
Okay, I'll find the animation itself. Are you familiar with the Angry Video Game Nerd?
I've heard of him. I've never seen his stuff. Except for his retrospective on the Godzilla games. That's the only thing of his I've seen.
Okay. So he did a parody of, what was it called? No, it was this other internet reviewer called Spoony, or Spoony One, and he did a parody of Deadliest Warrior. And in this parody, he paired up the original Megazord with Showa Mechagodzilla, and James Rolfe was like the character. He played a character that was supporting Mechagodzilla, while this comic book reviewer, Linkaro, was supporting the Megazord. And then they had an animated sequence that showed the two robots fighting. Let's see, Megazord versus Mechagodzilla. And of course, just like with what would you call it? Just like with Deadliest Warrior, they always do some like BS sort of cheating that allowed one character to win over the other.
Yeah, that's why I stopped watching that show after like the third episode, as I just got so tired of them cheating.
Mechagodzilla.
Let's see. Okay, so this is...
I have homework for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you have 3 movies you've got to watch.
Okay.
Okay, Zaram 1 and 2. I will tell you this right now. The first one is way better than the second one.
One and two. Okay.
And the other one, Dylan and Bill probably told you about it because I told them about it. But watch a movie called No One Lives.
No One Lives.
That is a Ryuhei Kitamura movie.
Okay.
Made in the U.S. This is a very interesting way it's set up. It's got the bad guy from, I believe it's Fast and the Furious 6, the lead girl from the second Silent Hill movie, and it was made by the WWE.
Interesting. I didn't know the WWE makes movies.
Oh yeah, they've been making movies for a long time.
Huh.
But I mean, just try and wrap all that stuff in your head.
Yeah.
Nothing goes together.
It would be interesting to see a Japanese director use his style of cinematography and pacing on an American film.
And that's exactly what he does in this one. And I mean, it is... I can't say anything about it. In fact, don't watch a trailer for it because the trailer gives way too much away. But I mean, it's... If you've seen Versus, think Versus on crack. But I will forewarn you, though, it is a really, really bloody movie. I don't know if blood bothers you or not, but
not so much. Only if it's normally when it comes to blood and gore, if it's like using like a cartoony sort of way, like Dead Alive or Evil Dead or any of like the Friday the 13th movies, then I'm okay with it. But if it's kind of like torture porn sort of thing, like the Saw movies, that's when I get a little ugh.
No, there's nothing. Well, he tortures some of the people, but it's not anything like remotely like Saw. So I'm going to say you can handle this movie.
All right, awesome.
But yeah, those are the three movies you have to watch, especially as a ram.
All right. Oh, I wanted to ask you. You've been exposed to the Devilman franchise. What should I start off with if I want to get into Devilman?
Well, it depends. If you want something more, I can't really say family friendly, but something a lot easier on the senses, go with the cartoon from the 70s. Okay. But if you actually want a, like, I'm trying to figure out how to describe this. If you want the true Devilman experience, watch the OVAs.
Okay.
I mean,
from the 90s?
I think the first two were made in the 80s, maybe early 80s. And then the third one was made like 8-10 years ago, something like that. Now, they are extreme, especially the third one. Like I said, the third one pulls no punches whatsoever. If it happens, you're going to see it. And, I mean, it's just in your face, the third one. The first two are pretty good. You know, they're not in your face at that point.
Right.
So, yeah, watch the first two if you want a dark hero movie.
So I want to ask, with Devilman, is his character, like from the original manga, is he originally blue, or is he supposed to be was he originally flesh-colored?
In the manga, he's supposed to be blue. Now, whenever they did the animation for the films, if memory serves me, the reason why he is flesh tone is because they didn't know that's how he was supposed to, whether or not that's how he's supposed to look in the manga version. So they gave him a more realistic human color tone.
This is for the OVAs, right?
Right.
Okay.
And then whenever they got to the third OVA, the Apocalypse of Amon, I think that's what it's called. They don't make him fully blue, but they do make him sort of grayish, sort of a hint of the original, the real color scheme.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and avoid the live-action movie at all costs.
Okay.
Because one of my qualms with movie making is whenever you're making a film based off of a series, is if you try and cram the entire series into one movie.
Exactly
what they did. With certain things it'll work, with Devilman it does not. That is a story that needs at least 4 chapters.
So what I like to consider Avatar: The Last Airbender syndrome.
haven't watched that movie yet. I never really watched the show. I mean, I watched some of it, but I just never became a big fanboy of it. I did like the last episode, though. Just because it went complete and utter nuts. That was awesome.
Yeah. Huh. I'm looking at pictures of the live-action Devilman, and his design looks pretty crazy.
I actually like. I mean, he's a little bit too spiky. The horns on his head are a little bit too big. Design-wise, they got everything to look good. It's just like I said, they just tried to cram too much of the story into the little time frame they had. That's why I think that the OVAs are better, is that it actually, you got the first chapter, the second chapter, and then instead of it telling like the next couple chapters, it goes straight to like the fifth one, which is really the only parts that you need.
Now, if this was made in America today, it would totally want to save everything for for sequels, because nowadays every studio is trying to make a trilogy of films.
Which is what they should have done with Devilman.
Yep, I assume so. I assume it's kind of like he beats all the major demons and ends up fighting the devil himself or whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty much how the story goes. But I mean, you've got your major badass demons, and in the OVAs, it takes them a while to beat them. There's this one Shiranu or Siren, depending on the name. She looks almost angelic. She's the one that you saw in the opening to the
right. I see pictures. I see images of her whenever I look at Devilman, and is she supposed to be one of the major characters in the franchise?
Oh yeah, the entire second volume revolves around him and her.
I see.
And the OVA gets it right because they devote the entire second movie to their little battle. And I mean, it is a big battle. And then they do the live action movie, and it's 2 minutes, and then she just disappears for no reason.
That sucks.
Yeah. I mean, okay, when it comes to Go-Nagai stuff, I mean, I love the giant robot stuff, but Devilman is what introduced me to it.
Right.
I love that the manga itself, oh my goodness, that's the best manga I have ever read. But I just don't like that movie.
When you're such a dedicated fan of that source material, it's any real major changes that are not as good as the original, it's just puts it under more scrutiny.
Well, it's okay, and this is one of the things I was actually thinking about doing on my own little podcast for my channel. I actually want to talk about what movie makers get wrong, not just in Hollywood, because Japan's guilty of it too. But it's when you have something that is familiar. I mean, when you do a movie, you kind of need to switch it up because Todd McFarlane explained it the best whenever they did the Spawn movie.
Yeah.
He said if you tell the same joke over and over again, it's no longer funny, so you have to change it. But there are certain degrees to which you can change them. As long as you keep the characters looking right and you give them the same personalities, and that's important. I mean, if I can ever track down Paul W.S. Anderson, I'm going to gripe at him about it. But you need to make sure the characters themselves have the personality they're supposed to. If you have those two elements, you can do whatever you want story-wise. I'm fairly certain the fandom will accept it.
Let's see. And I get, nowadays, everybody really does want to have the most faithful adaptations, or fans want to see the most faithful adaptations of their beloved properties. And then it's always rare when you have something that does not follow the source material, yet still remains just as good as the original, or still be a decent entity on its own. Because I always think back to the Mask movie, because from what I researched, the comic is a lot more darker and more sadistic than what the movie turned out to be.
Oh yeah.
And yet people today to this day still love the movie, and even if they never read the comic, the movie kind of stands on its own. I mean, until maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I wasn't even aware that The Mask was based off a comic.
Yeah, for years after I saw it, I didn't even know it was a comic. And I found out it was. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's look at the comic. And yeah, it's a different animal altogether.
Mm-hmm.
But just, I think what the movie gets away with is the fact that it's based around Loki, the god of mischief.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what he does in the movie. So I think that's why fans can accept it, is that it is just based around madcap nonsense.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, since we're on the subject of Go Nagai, I wanted to talk to you about this OVA that I recently got my hands on because I finally got the Mazinger Kaiser OVA on DVD, and the only way I can get the DVD was it was like a 2-pack. It was Mazinger Kaiser, and it came with this other Go Nagai OVA from the 80s called Shuten Doji. Wondering if you ever heard of that one.
I have heard of it. I can't really tell you much about it, but I have heard of it.
Mm-hmm. Because I've seen through the whole thing, and now, like, because I've seen the new Getter Robo OVA, and now I know where the Oni came, like the idea of how the Onis are portrayed came from, where the Onis from New Getter Robo look and act very similar to the Oni in this OVA.
What's one of the things I actually like about whenever they do an adaptation off of Go Nagai's work, because he really doesn't have much to do with the animated stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty much there just to sign off on it and go, yeah, you can do it. And because he does it that way, the people who make the videos will actually pull stuff from all of his different material, just as sort of nods to, yeah, this is happening in the same universe. It's like Cutie Honey. There's several references to Devilman. Devilman's even in an episode.
Right. That's what I remember seeing that in a review, one review of one of the Cutie Honey OVAs, where it's like they have Devilman, but he doesn't transform into Devilman, but that's the character, and then they have Dr. Kabuto from Mazinger Z.
Yeah, that's. Oh, what are all the? Okay. Kabuto, I forgot his name, Akira.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I hate it when my brain locks up. But yeah, that's the new Cutie Honey, and that is just every episode. Sometimes it's a main character, like, Kabuto, he's actually a primary character in the one episode that he's in.
Mm-hmm.
But there's, again, like, drawn together. If you look in the background, it's like, oh, hey, it's that guy from that show.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, what was I think Shuten Doji was, I'm sure if it was based on manga or not, but, okay, it was based on a manga, but I think the OVA was indeed written by, Go Nagai himself. Let's see.
He can write this stuff occasionally. It's just that nowadays, he just more or less signs off on it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, I'm trying to look for writing credits. Let's see. I can't find it.
Credits could mean anything from he was just the guy that came up with the idea.
Ah, I see.
Right. So,
maybe that's.
Are you on Wikipedia or IMDb?
Wikipedia.
Okay, don't trust Wikipedia.
Okay.
Go to the IMDb.
All right, because if what you're saying is true, where it's like he came up with the original idea, therefore he's credited as the writer. Maybe that's why he so easily got associated with Getter Robo, despite the fact that he only came up with the concept and not like the story and characters around it.
The whole Guy King situation.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. IMDb. But yeah, but when it came to like a Shuten Doji, it's kind of like everything you expect to see out of a Go Nagai series, like violence, gore, demons, nudity. But I'm not sure. Like, I guess I wouldn't really recommend it because the main protagonist himself is kind of boring, but the situation around him is kind of interesting. So I guess being a huge fan of Go Nagai yourself, I guess I would recommend you check out at least maybe like the first one or two episodes of Shuten Doji. See if it's up your alley.
Oh, it's gonna guy. It's gonna be in my alley.
Yeah, like
one of the reasons why I like him so much is like his stuff speaks to me.
yeah, like not a lot of hardly any substance, but a whole lot of flashy spectacle, gory, bloody spectacle.
Well, depending on the things, it's got a lot of substance. Like Devilman. Like I said, the manga is one of my favorite written stories because there is so much substance there.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, so many plot twists. I mean, it gets so in depth in its own world that it's actually amazing reading the manga. Good luck tracking it down. I mean, if you can, it's a really good read.
Like, would it be like a fan translated thing online, like Mazinger Z and Go Nagai and Getter Robo?
Yeah, that's how I had to read it because it was the only. I think the first few chapters of the first volume were actually Americanized. Everything else was just fan translation.
Right. Now, why can't I ever find stuff like that whenever I find like a manga section of a comic book shop? Like I can never find any of the classic stuff. I can never find any Go Nagai. I can never find any mecha mangas. It's like it's like barren. Like the mech genre, especially, is like a barren wasteland. Whenever I look at any sort of manga section in any sort of bookstore or comic book store.
The only manga series I ever bought, the entire series from an actual store, was Death Note. Every other...
That was my sister.
Well, every other manga that I got has been like from online sources that actually were devoted to selling the obscure stuff. And there was this, I cannot remember what, it was like a comic book show that we went to in Springfield. And they have, let me find out the date on this thing. Come on, where's the date? This was from 1988. What it is it's a Mazinger comic made specifically for the American market.
I heard about that. Was it called like Mazinger USA?
That was the game title. The book itself is just called Mazinger.
Ah, I see. Nice.
And I mean, it only lasted the one storyline, and it's a very interesting spin on Mazinger.
Translation: it wasn't good.
No, it's okay. It does the story completely differently than what we know of. Because in this one, it's like set far in the future, and Koji Kabuto is still the pilot of Mazinger Z, but he winds up getting caught in this dimensional flux after there's this big war on the planet that he's on, and it winds up sending him to this other world where Mazinger is actually the size of the people on the planet. So they think of him as just this knight, when actually he's the guy, little bitty, in the cockpit. And I mean, the entire story is wrapped up in however many pages it is. But I mean, for just what it is, it's kind of a cute little thing that he did, like I said, just for the American audience. But to me, it's a really neat little book. Just the artwork is so stellar.
Interesting. Like the only manga series I ever bought, which is something that's very recent, was the Mobile Suit Gundam: The Origin series. I just bought the second volume 2 weeks ago, only because like each volume is like $26, and they're like really hefty volumes. Because it's like for the American release, they combined each volume in America was 2 volumes. Over in Japan, which I find pretty convenient because I'd rather have 8 volumes than 16 volumes. And so, Mobile Suit Gundam: The Origin is pretty much a retelling of the original Gundam series, only with a much more mature like much more mature way of telling the story, because it's like aimed at an older audience as opposed to the show, which was aimed, well, it was like advertised and kind of aimed towards kids, sort of. Well, not aimed towards kids, but it was pushed to be aimed more to kids. And it also adds extra scenarios that were not present in the original show.
Does it give more storyline to the pilot of the Act Guy?
The Act Guy, the guy with I forgot, was he wear like a brown suit and like had a large pink nose?
Yes.
I've sadly he appears much later. If I haven't finished the second volume, but I recall that the Act Guys, they appear much later in the show, and this only goes up. The second volume goes up to when they confront what's that character's name? Garnet, I think, the guy with the purple hair that Char betrays.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's see. But yeah, outside of that, I haven't found any manga worth owning to my collection, owning for my personal collection of some sorts. I decided to just go with Gundam because it's one of the very few mecha mangas in the market outside of the Evangelion manga, and two, Gundam being my second favorite franchise after Godzilla is okay, I guess this is worth owning.
Let's see. I don't own many manga stories. It's Death Note, Sorcerer Hunters, Death Note, Sorcerer Hunters. I used to own the Kaiju. And the one that I tried my hardest to find was Kikaider Code 02. This manga. Okay, you might remember I stated that my favorite anime of all time is the Kikaider series. Okay, like I said, I searched far and wide to find these things. I refused to read them until I had the entire set. Took me a while to get the entire set. I read it, and it pissed me off to such an amazing degree.
Really?
It did some things I like, but very few. Because my statement about you got to keep the characters' personalities.
Yeah.
Not a single personality was kept, and the entire reason for the story made no freaking sense.
You're talking about the manga, right?
Yes.
And
the anime makes perfect sense. But the anime, the Tokusatsu television series, I really want to see reboot just to see how good that is.
And all of this stemmed from the manga?
No, the manga was a reimagining done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I wish it was a direct adaptation. That would be awesome. No, I could actually handle what they did with the characters just because the designs of the robots look freaking awesome. But the entire reasoning for the story, okay, you've got Kikaider, and his entire purpose in the manga is to protect this little girl. Well, I'm not going to ruin how it ends in case you ever get curious enough to read it to find out if you'll hate it as much as I do. But when you find out the plan of the bad guy and how all the robots were made to it, even Kikaider's part, it's just so head-scratchingly confusing because everything contradicts itself. It's like watching Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah.
Really?
Well, in a sense. Except I can sort of let Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah have its little
like that major plot hole that makes no sense.
Yeah, where the entire movie happened. Yeah, that plot hole.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just the whole story makes no sense. Everything leading up to the final chapter would have been completely unnecessary if her part in the final chapter was what it was supposed to be. It's there would be no reason to make these things. There's no reason to make Kikaider in the first place. There's no reason for him to do any of the fighting. It's like they just did it just so they could have this bleak, gloomy ending for no reason. I was pissed as soon as I finished the book. Because up to the last book, I was like, all right, I can get into this. Yeah, Kiter is getting a lot more screen time. It's more about him than Kiter. This is good. And then it ends, and it's like, what the hell?
I'm trying to remember something like that. I'm trying to remember something, an experience like that, where it's like I was into the whole thing, and then that end, okay, big O. Where it's like, I love the whole thing, where it's going, and then that ending just like dropped the bomb on you, and you're like, why? This just ruins the whole thing now in retrospective.
I noticed that a lot of anime tend to do that.
Yeah, maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe there's something up with like anime writers where it's like they know they have a really great idea, but they don't know how to finish it or how to like wrap things up. I mean, it's just probably, yeah.
I think part of the time it's the writers are like, okay, how can we piss people off the most?
Like they all meet up in some secret lair, like what do you call it, the Legion of Doom or whatever.
Yes, that's exactly how I imagine it. Like, okay, you guys have these awesome characters. Well, you guys go over here and you do a Game of Thrones thing, and then you guys go over here and you make an ending that makes no sense.
And you're gonna have this guy's gonna make an ending where the good guy turns out to be the bad guy the whole time and betrays everyone out of nowhere. And here we're going to have a whole, it's all been a dream ending. Now,
those endings piss me off more than anything.
Oh, yeah. In like the last episode of SOS that I uploaded on my channel, I brought that up, yeah.
I've only made it halfway through that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I am watching this stuff. It's just taking me a while.
Sure. Totally understand. So once that's done, then the episode will be released. And let's see, Adam's now been an hour late, so I tried messaging him. Are you there?
So we could have just recorded this entire conversation. You could have just posted that.
Actually, funny enough, I have been recording this whole conversation from the beginning. At least I hope. At least I hope MP3 Skype, my Skype recorder, is working, and that it is recording this. So yeah, we definitely do have a lot of this. This could be like the Jacob Baker special. Just you and me, just chatting it up, discussing things that we love.
Oh no, we didn't do our intros. The horror.
We can just add that in post-production. Like before we wrap things up, we'll just like script something out like on the fly. That way I can just take that very last bit of dialogue and just put it at the beginning. Yeah, and like this whole part where like realizing that this could be an episode, I can just edit this whole part of the conversation out.
No, you gotta keep it in just to confuse the audience. It's like, wait a minute, didn't they plan this out already? News for you, audience, we didn't.
What you just heard at the beginning was a pre-recording. How's that for continuity?
My mind is blown.
It's interesting now because like now, from here on now, we are now aware that there's an audience listening to us.
Oh god, I need to do something with my hair. Wait, I don't have hair. Never mind.
Random question. Now that you brought the subject of your hair, are you naturally bald?
Yeah, my hair actually fell out when I was a teenager. Which was incredibly annoying because when I was I'm going to say 15, 16, I had awesome 80s hair. I had long hair, big tail, thick, luscious hair.
Yeah.
And then it was like overnight. I was almost 18.
Mm-hmm.
And then I leaned out the car window to look at something. Mm-hmm. My mom went, your hair's kind of thin. And I didn't think anything of it. And then, like I said, it was like a week later, my hair was gone. I was like, what?
Oh, no. Then you're like, curse you, father, and your defective genes.
No, I actually blame this one on mom.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. So male baldness can also come from either parent then.
Yeah, well, I think it's I can't really say it's a rule, but
Mhm.
I've heard it stated as actually as something you inherit from your mother's side.
Huh, interesting.
I look at all the men on my dad's side of the family. Dad's
Mhm.
got full hair. My uncle's got full hair. Grandpa, before he passed away, he had thick hair, black hair. And then I look at mom's side of the family, and everyone's bald. And it's like, yeah, I got it from mom.
Oh, well, that's that's very unfortunate. This is like right on the cusp of like you're 18, you're becoming a man. You know, you're entering the next chapter in your life, and sadly, your hair is like, sorry, I have traveled with you for far enough. You must make it on your own now.
I think I honestly killed it with hairspray.
Oh.
Like I said, I had 80 hair. You know, I had
Yeah, I got the hairspray, like wasting an entire can on the last several inches alone.
I had not mousse, gel and hairspray.
Ah.
I was that dedicated to my hair being a helmet.
So did all the hair came out, or was it like male pattern baldness where like the sides still remained?
I still have the sides, which is why it's so annoying to shave it. Because, you know, I do not let my hair grow out because after it gets a certain length, I just look really, really goofy.
Yeah.
But, you know, if I, like, clean shaven, you know, I don't look too bad, and then I let the stubble grow in. It's like, I got sort of a Jason Statham thing going on.
Yeah. Seeing you in person, you do pull off the bald look, like, for lack of a better term, very naturally.
Well, thank you. I've never been complimented on my baldness before.
Because, you know, a lot of people can pull off the bald look and look badass, like you mentioned, Jason Statham, and even especially Bruce Willis.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I've grown accustomed to the fact that I no longer have hair. I mean, I miss my ponytail, but you know, I'm fine with the fact that I have no hair. I just really wish that the hair that I do have wasn't gray, because I'm not even 30 yet, and I'm bald and gray.
Really? Wow. That's strange. What would you call that? Premature graying, or I don't know if there's like a term for that, but that's pretty interesting. I mean, like, now that's an interesting question where it's like, because your hair grows on the sides, it's like, do you naturally have gray streaks, or had you had hair with your whole head of hair would have been gray?
I think I would sort of have the Dr. Fantastic look going on, where it would be dark and great temples. But
right.
Since the only thing I can see is my temples, I don't know if it's actually graying in back.
Right,
so
right.
I could really be a good judge here.
Yeah, because my dad has the Reed Richards gray temples look, and let's see, my grandpa, he's full gray, so I'm not sure how I'm gonna end up. But at least like my dad, he didn't go gray until like at the beginning of his 40s. So I still got a while. But even then, looking at him, I think I may look good with the gray temples.
Yeah, you can pull it off. You've got the right facial structure for it.
Right, thank you.
My dad, you know, I think he had really dark hair until like maybe his mid-30s, maybe early 40s. But his hair is really odd because it's gray, but the roots are black. So it looks like he actually dyed his hair silver. And my dad's hair looks awesome. And it looks like Quicksilver from the X-Men movie. But that's the hair I always wanted when I was in high school. I was like,
yeah,
I want my hair to be gray just so it would be different from the dark hair that I see with everyone. And then my hair just decided to take a completely different route and run away.
Did the idea of wearing a wig ever cross your mind?
I refuse to, just because I find the concept so laughable.
Yeah. Or not even hair transplants?
No, like I said, I'm comfortable with the way that I look bald. I actually like that look more. You know, I don't get offended, but I do find it really odd that I do get the occasional comment about being a skinhead. It's like, I'm not a skinhead, I'm just bald.
Oh, probably because of your age compared to the hair loss thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm one of those people that just, unfortunately, just my hair decided to do incredibly strange things when I was really young.
Yeah.
So I both look older than what I am, and I also look a lot younger than what I am. And with that being said, I am never going to state how old I am just because it's going to be this fun question that everyone has. How old is this guy?
Right. Right. Like, I bet you, like, imagine, like, if just life decides to just, let's just play a really bad prank on you and decides for you to grow your hair right, well, like, like, when you're, like, 60 or something.
I think that would piss me off more than anything. If you couldn't do this when I was young, this could have been a chick magnet. Not now.
Thanks, Obama. Did you just say that out of randomness?
I would blame it on him, too.
It's like the first name everybody thinks of when it comes to their problems.
I don't really have a name that is my default name. I mean, I don't usually pick on Obama just because he's too obvious of a target. Because, like you said, everyone that's their go-to, person to insult. So,
thanks, Roland Emmerich.
No. Thanks, George Lucas.
Oh yeah. Thanks, Lucas. For both creating our childhoods and then ruining it right afterwards. So saying thanks, Lucas, could have a devil meaning.
Lucas.
Although on a more obscure note, people could think that you're talking about Lucas from that movie The Wizard. Like, damn you, the Power Glove was bad.
Hey, either one will work here, I guess. I'm not a big indiscriminate Lucas. I blame you.
Since you're not discriminated. You're just like you're just cursing everyone named Lucas.
That's right.
You pass by someone at G-Fez, Lucas.
I think I do know a Lucas at G-Fez.
It's like, what did I do?
No offense, any Lucas that I actually know, but for all of you Lucases I don't know, I blame you.
You are the bane of Jacob's existence. You are the reason for his hair loss.
And it's beautiful hair too.
Look at what you've done to him.
I'll never be the same again. Oh, well, I can pull off bald.
At the end of this episode of Shuwatch, it's like, I have a picture of you with your hair. It's like, dedicated to Jacob's hair, like 19 whatever to 19 whatever. And then,
I would cry.
And then to even make it even more sappier, put like that Sarah McLachlan song, "In the Arms of an Angel."
No, I ban you from using that. You are banned. Don't make me get the ban hammer.
Not the ban hammer.
From Ban Banner. Somewhere out there, someone's like, "Oh my God, he just referenced that."
A reference to what?
I forget the title of it. It was one of those Halo machinimas.
Oh, okay.
Sort of like Red versus Blue.
Right.
Sprigs, but crap! I completely forgot what that was. Someone out there is going to know the ban hammer thing.
Okay. Yeah. Now I know I didn't get it because like the Halo culture, for the most part, kind of eludes me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that. The games themselves, I like playing the games because they're fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I was never a huge fan of Halo. It was just one of those games that was there and I played it and I was like, yeah, okay, it's a pretty fun game. But I cannot see how it grew into this phenomenon that it became. Of course, that's with anything. I mean, there are certain bands, I'm like, how did they get this famous? Their songs aren't that good. But like Halo, it's just something about it just clicked, and it became this big thing.
Yeah, and didn't it? Would you say like kind of like it saved the Xbox from like failing, like the original Xbox?
I mean, if I remember right, I believe that is the one game that actually saved Microsoft.
Yeah, like I'm not sure like what about Halo could have inspired all of this. Like me never playing the games outside of like a few rounds of multiplayer at my cousin's house 10 years ago of Halo 2. I'm not sure if it's the story or like the universe, or maybe it was just a damn good game that people quickly attached to. And then maybe some like, just like with bands, like, how do bands become popular? Through corporate marketing, where it's like the people behind the band, they push this band into the public and tell everyone, hey, this is the thing that you should be into right now. And maybe that's kind of what Microsoft did for Halo. Like, once they saw potential in this, they decided, okay, we're going to market the hell out of this property, but once Halo 2 comes around. Because once Halo 2 came out, that's when I started noticing Halo's popularity.
Well, that was actually the first game I actually played for the Xbox, was Halo 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose, I mean, I don't really get much out of the story,
mm-hmm.
but they are fun games to play. I do give them that. I love
mm-hmm.
to play.
Mm-hmm.
But, they're just not really something I would do at all.
Uh-huh.
I do that with Splatterhouse, not Halo.
So yeah, like Halo just pretty much grew out of like after Halo 2, it pretty much just grew out of control. And nowadays you've got you're on like the 5th Halo game that's coming out soon. You got like anniversary editions of both 1 and 2. You've got an upcoming TV show produced by Steven Spielberg, and even had this like anime anime movie that came out like a year or two ago, where it's like a series of animated shorts, each one made by a different animation company. And
like the spin-off games.
Yeah, like ODST and Halo Wars, Halo Reach, and then what was that last thing? I think there was one more Halo-related thing. Well, of course, Red versus Blue, and that grew into its own thing that eventually officially became a legit Microsoft merchandise.
And actually, as far as I'm concerned, to me, the best stuff to come out of Halo is actually the machinima stuff, like Red versus
mm-hmm.
Blue and Spriggs, especially Spriggs. I love that shit.
Yeah, I got it. Now I've only seen like the first season of Red versus Blue, but now I want to check out the rest of that series and Spriggs, like you mentioned, and now that you brought it to my attention.
Okay, I can't remember which podcast it was that I was listening to, but Bill had brought up Red versus Blue.
That was let's see, what was it? I think that was SOS, because I remember telling him that I was always aware of it but never saw it.
Yeah. Well, I had heard you guys reference it there. I was like, okay, well, just to see what this is, because, I knew about Spriggs. I did not know about Red versus Blue.
Mm-hmm.
So I, watched the first season, and it was like, oh my god, the show is so funny. And I just kept watching, and right now I'm like towards the end of season 3, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And and I watched all that for like the past couple days, because
mm-hmm.
whenever I heard the podcast.
Uh-huh.
So it is a really funny show, and it's got some of the best dialogue. Like, who on earth thinks about giving someone CPR for being shot in the head?
Mm-hmm.
Just dialogue like that. That's why I love Shin Chan so much, is because of the line, "You stabbed me in the heart with a shotgun."
I think that Puma conversation still kills me to this day. It's like, why a warthog? Can't we call it a puma? What the hell is a puma? It's like this big cat. I think you're making it up. Want to name it after one? Name any other mythical creatures? Sasquatch? A Loch Ness monster, maybe?
Oh, let's call it the leprechaun.
Yeah. And because I'm starting off with the early shows, or these early episodes, and now I'm curious as to how much further does like their technology increase, like to the point I understand like the show got to a point where it was so popular that Microsoft gave them the actual character 3D models for them to actually use and animate beyond what they could have originally done with gameplay alone, or like the game engines alone.
Well, from what I've noticed, and like I said, I've only watched up to like the later part of season 3.
Uh-huh.
At that point, they're still using the in-game engine and models.
Mm-hmm.
So I really couldn't say. We'd have to talk to Bill. Or
yeah.
He never show up.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Adam is not going to be here, so this will be the Jacob Baker special. You know, like maybe for like the title card, it'll be like Draco Zool facing off against your mascot for Atomic Stick figure.
And I will so draw that tomorrow.
Ooh, that'll be nice.
You just got to get Dylan to finally get around to coloring this stuff in.
Yeah, I think unfortunately he's just been busy with this semester and hasn't had time to just draw stuff. So I sympathize with the guy.
Yeah, I understand completely. Well, yeah. I'll just do the title card myself. I can't do any like background flashy stuff, but I can give the character models.
I do have a background. It's like that same explosion background that I use for the regular title card. It would just be like, I'm not sure if you would know how to turn a image into a PNG file and then just drag those PNG files where they should go on that background.
I have no idea how to do any of that stuff. I know how to use Windows Paint.
Okay.
My knowledge.
Same. Me too. Although I'm kind of learning how to use what's it called? What's this program called? GIMP. Yeah, I know it's a weird name, but GIMP is what I use to add what I use to add the text on the Shuwatch title card.
I may have to start looking into that just to make my stuff look a bit flashier whenever I post it.
Oh, I just wanted to know your mascot for Atomic Stick Figure Productions, is that character's name the Atomic Stick figure?
No, the character's name is Rugal. The name Atomic Stick Figure, I actually got that back when I was working at the church camp. Because I forget what the sermon was about, but the lady drew this stick figure, and it looked not like a stick figure. I can't really say what it looked like because it was really wrong. It was supposed to be a stick figure that was really happy, but it was like just a couple of semicircles with a dot on them. And the way that she had drawn that, I sort of incorporated into my stick figure at the start of it. And then as I was just doodling around, just like, how could I make a stick figure look interesting? And then that's whenever he got like the armor-plated chest plate and the big gauntlets and the boots and the head shaped like a bomb. And it was, the name just, I don't know where I got the name Rugal. It was just the name I chose for that. But, I mean, it wasn't even supposed to be him. It was supposed to be another one whose head was an 8-ball named Vex. But I decided not to use him just because of my own little in-joke about him was that he was knighted. So his name is Sir Vex. I knew that would be a little bit too much for people that knew what that was. So I decided instead, let's just use Rugal, and he just sort of became the face of Atomic Stick Figure, except for the one period where I used Zaha, the monstrous-looking one.
あれは誰だ誰だ誰だあれはデビルマンデビルマン裏切り者の名を受けて
全てを捨てて戦う男
デビルは脳は超音波デビルイヤーは地獄耳デビルウィングは空を飛びデビルビームは熱光線
悪魔の力身につけた正義のヒーローデビルマン
デビルマン
初めて知った人の愛その優しさに目覚めた男
デビルチョップはパンチ力デビルキックは破壊力デビル愛なら投資力デビルカッターは疑惑楽
悪魔の力身につけた正義のヒーローデビルマン
デビルマンあれは誰だ誰だ誰だあれはデビルデビルマンデビルマン
裏切り者の名を受けて全てを捨てて戦う男
デビルは脳は超音波デビルイヤーは地獄耳デビルウィングは空を飛びデビルビームは熱光線
悪魔の力身につけた正義のヒーローデビルマン
デビルマン
Some people call us fanatics. I consider ourselves enthusiasts. I am Kaiju Noir, and this is Shuwatch!
Super dynamic.
Ultra Force.
Go! Hello, people of the internet. This is Andres Perez, aka Kaiju Noir. And welcome... and welcome to another episode of Shuwatch Super Dynamic Ultra Force Go. I am your host, of course, and here with me at least most of him is here. Okay, maybe at least some part of him is here. Adam Noyes.
Hello, insects of YouTube.
And joining us as our special guest, the one and only Jacob Baker of Atomic Stick Figure Productions.
Did you know you could bruise your nipples if you rub them too hard?
I did not know that.
Out there is like one person who's like, that's a Pony Pony Pointy reference.
And for that person who recognized that, we congratulate you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Oh, thank you. Goodbye, Father. No. Thank you, Father. Goodbye, Mother. And to all the children, congratulations.
So, for this section, I guess because Adam just got back from watching a particular movie that I talked about on Facebook, I feel like it's only right that we start off with Adam's section as we discuss Tusk. Yeah, the latest film by Kevin Smith, based off of a conversation that he and his friend had on his podcast known as Smodcast, where they were. Well, first off, let's just say, okay, Adam.
Yeah.
Initial thoughts. You just came back from watching the movie that I highly, highly, highly recommended. What do you think?
What the fuck?
That's pretty.
I want to say I saw no trailers for this movie.
As did I.
I went there not knowing anything other than that this is a Kevin Smith movie, and I love Zack and Mary Make a Porno.
Okay, because I thought you weren't a big fan of Kevin Smith.
I'm not. I didn't
Okay.
even listen to his podcast or anything, so I had no idea what this was referencing, but Bill showed me it earlier.
Okay.
The O-Beast
Shut
wasn't,
up.
was it?
We had something that's just as horrifying as the O-Beast.
Oh my god! it was as my friend Jake described as Frankenstein's left testicle. And I will say, my initial thoughts of the movie coming out of it was that was fucking fantastic. I mean, that's my kind of humor. This movie is my kind of humor. Fucked up, dry, really satirical shit. And Michael
really
Park,
gets selling
Michael
point when
Park,
a movie shit.
Michael Park, the guy who plays the main villain,
Mm-hmm.
chews up the fucking. He is.
Was he did he also play the villain in Kevin Smith's last film, Red State?
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Okay. You kind of looked familiar.
I mean, it starts off like how I was kind of envisioning. Like I was like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. I was making all sorts of references to the podcast. It was doing everything right.
Right, because the main character played by Jake Long. He is playing a podcaster he makes a living off of podcasting, lucky bastard. So he's essentially like the stand-in for Kevin Smith and his Smodcast, although his podcast is called the Not See Party,
That was so funny.
spelled NOT-SEE.
And
Yeah, he finds that I don't know what you would call like an advertisement sort of thing, where it's like,
who wants to tell stories?
yeah, and he was looking for a new person to have on his podcast, and he goes to his creepy, spooky house that's that's nowhere near any sort of civilization, and he finds out this guy, Michael Park's character, has an obsession with a walrus that he personally knew.
Hey, named Mr. Tusk.
Right, and he ends up drugging Justin Long and horrifically mutilates his body so that he can stitch him to a walrus suit made of human parts.
I have still got to watch this movie now.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's all done practically.
Mm-hmm.
It's a suit.
He essentially
Fucking suit.
he essentially turns him into Maguma.
Yes.
Like
I'm really going to watch this movie.
he's the Maguma from hell. It's like what if like your Jacob? It's like your Maguma versus. I want to see like your Maguma versus Maguma from hell. It's like his demon counterpart.
Now you see the thing is, Jacob, have 2 or 3 or 4 beers before you go see this movie.
No, I don't drink, so I'll see it sober.
Have 2 or 3 or 4, maybe 10 beers. Just take up drinking for the night.
Like if you're
There was only like 5 people in this theater.
right, same with us. It was like 6 people. I think for us, like 6 or 7 people. Like
And
no,
they were all getting the references. They were all having the time of their life. We were just sitting there all going, everyone in the theater was like, what? Oh my god.
my God.
He makes them fight each other. He makes
Yes, Michael Park.
They start fighting each other. Oh my god.
Okay, serious spoilers from here on out, because while we are recording, I am currently uploading a video that I recently made with my friend Tony, where I call the 2014 Summer Wrap-Up Review, where my friend and I review 5 movies that we've seen in like August and September, pretty much like the tail end of summer. and at the very end we discuss Tusk, but we don't really go into any detail because we want to be very vague about this film, and so because this episode of Shuwatch will be coming out after that video. This will be like the spoiler part of this spoiler discussion.
You know, if the guy getting turned into a walrus wasn't a spoiler.
Right. I'll just probably put in like the description, spoiler alert.
What the fuck? And they brutally fucking show it. Brutally. All done with physical effects. In fact, the scene where they make fun of the kid who accidentally chopped off his own leg with a samurai sword.
That was the worst CG I've ever seen in my life. Like I thought the joke was that the CG was so bad, but then it was like, oh, this is actually supposed to be happening in the context of the film itself.
And the thing is, I think they went with CG there for a reason. Because everything else from that point on is all done practically.
Yeah, probably like a cost saving like matter.
No, I think it was done to make fun of CG. I really do, because it was just so awful.
I don't know. I feel like.
But anyways,
mm-hmm.
This movie is not made for mainstream audiences.
No, not at all.
This is going to be like when we start making SOS the motion picture. It's going to be like that. Who the fuck is going to see the Sons of Sarah the motion picture, but SOS fans?
I mean, maybe Jacob here, but other than that, it's like, what? No.
So essentially what we've got here is a movie that has a sizable budget in order to afford all this practical effects and CGI that's not going to make back a single penny.
Oh, no. It's like this movie was $3 million, and on its first weekend it opened at number 16 with $800,000.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys really want that to be the direction the Sons of Sarah is? We're going to make this movie and not make crap.
Yeah!
Yeah! Why fucking not? Kevin Smith is
crap.
rich. He can afford to lose that much fucking money. He makes it back in his sleep.
That's true.
But here's the thing.
I just realized the bitter irony is that's exactly what's happening when I make a Mind fan film.
Oh.
I'm making a movie I'm not making any money off of, because it's illegal.
Well, it's a fan film. As long as it's non-profit, then you won't be sued by Toho and Dai or Kadokawa Pictures.
Yeah, but the thing is that I'm still making a movie knowing full well I'm not making any money.
Unless you were to...
Kevin Smith, oh no, I want to be.
Like, what you could do is probably you can have like a few, like, make a few DVDs and just sell them. Like, hey, you saw this movie, you like it, you know? Hey, $5, $10, whatever's your price.
Oh, don't think I'm not going to do that.
You know, you can. I'm pretty sure you can get away with that at G-Fest.
Oh yeah, of course you can.
I mean, heck, we have that one guy. I think you know. Don't you know the guy who sells bootlegs? He has a whole bunch. He wore a whole bunch of like Ultraman buttons and figures on his self.
Yeah, Linnell Bridges.
Yeah. I mean, if he can get away with that, then I'm sure you can.
I don't have a hat anywhere near as cool as this. His hat has Ultraman on
it. Maybe you should make like a custom-made hat with what's it? I forgot your name of your Rugal. Yeah, Rugal on your hat.
And everyone would just think it was one of those dingly things you stick on the antenna of your phone.
Or like the logo that you have for Atomic Stick Figure Productions, and slap that on your hat.
Okay, so I just need to say this. See, I popped my FYE cherry today. I went to my first FYE, and
the story, yeah.
Yeah, and I bought Godzilla vs. Gigan on Blu-ray because that was the only Godzilla film I don't have.
Okay.
However, right above it was Apocalypse Now, the Ultimate Collector's Edition.
Ooh.
Which features Apocalypse Now on the first disc, with audio commentary by Francis Ford Coppola and all that shit.
Right.
And the second disc has Apocalypse Now Redux, with audio commentary by Francis Ford Coppola and all that shit. And then the final disc has all the other special features in it, and the main one is Heart of Darkness.
I love that documentary.
and I had never seen it, so I'm really looking forward to it. And
Ah,
unfortunately, I left Apocalypse Now off of my top 15 favorites list, but it would easily be on the number 5 slot. I just forgot about it.
top 15.
And-
More like top 50, considering all your ties.
It was 30. It was almost $40. Now I'm on Amazon.
Adam,
This is true.
you cut off after you said now. You cut off after you said now on Amazon.
Anyways, yeah. Now I'm on Amazon. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Right now, I'm on Amazon, and it's there for $24.31. And I'm easily glad that I bought Godzilla vs. Gigan, because that was only $10.
I see.
And then I saw Tusk.
Did you saw it with anyone?
What?
Did you saw Tusk with anyone?
Yeah, I saw it with a bunch of Bill's friends.
Bill was there?
What?
Was Bill there?
Yeah, Bill was there.
Oh,
Like, cringing. He was cringing in fear, because of course he was stoned out of his mind. And he was cringing in pure fucking fear.
Should have snuck a camera into the theater just to record that.
I'm like curling up to Jake, being like, like crying, and oh my god.
I'm gonna look. I think I may have a picture of his reaction. Remember that picture you had with Bill that you shared on Facebook, Adam?
Maybe. Oh yes, that one. It was more terrifying than that.
Want to share? Can you share that image? Do you have that image?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I have it. Then I can send it to Jacob.
Oh, I've seen it. I saw it when he posted it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's like that. It looks like he's trying to tuck into his shell.
Yeah.
Imagine that as that face as his reaction to Tusk. Oh my god! But yeah. Do you know? Okay, remember that goofy do you remember Inspector Clouseau, or the guy who's essentially Inspector Clouseau in the movie?
Yeah, first off, before we do this, I love the reference that they make to Psycho with the half-sunken car in the bar.
Yeah. Okay, do you know who played the French inspector?
Yeah, Johnny Depp.
I was shocked when I heard that. I was like, "That's Johnny Depp?"
Oh, I knew it was Johnny Depp.
Yeah, it's better when you don't know it's Johnny Depp, because they clearly don't advertise that at all about him,
Well,
the
they don't
movie.
even put his name in the credits.
No. I wonder if it's like a legal issue or
Put
something.
his character name in the credits.
Well, it's like Inspector whatever as himself.
Pretty much. I'm way too far away from the computer. I apologize.
It's all right. We still hear you.
You just sound like you're underwater.
No, don't speak to me about underwater, please.
He's being dragged by a chain.
He's being dragged by a walrus.
This movie felt like a spoof of the Human Centipede.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I was telling Jacob, where it's like it is like it feels yeah, it's kind of like in a way like Human Centipede, only taken much more. It's like more disturbing and less disturbing at the same time.
No, it will never top the Human Centipede in terms of disturbingness.
Yeah, but if you think about it, the Human Centipede is a rather bloodless movie. There's like hardly any gore in it whatsoever, or any sort of the whole.
Yeah, a lot of it's implied.
It's a lot of it.
Massacre.
Yeah, but here, like, you pretty much see almost everything in Tusk.
Yeah.
Well, you don't see you do see the operation, but the operation is in montage, so it's like you don't see the whole picture.
You need a bit of montage. You're gonna need a montage.
Even Rocky had a montage.
So Have either of you two seen Tetsuo?
No, I no, I have not. Sadly.
Adam?
I have not seen it. No.
Okay, as far as practical effects, the opening sequence has actually pretty much the only practical effect that every time I see it I cringe.
Mm-hmm.
Because it opens up with this guy cutting his leg open and shoving a piece of rebar in his leg. And it looks real. It's black and white, but it looks real.
Well, that's probably why. Black and white hides a lot of shit.
Wow. He just stabs it there. He like opens his leg and just stabs it in there.
Yeah, he's a metal fetishist. He's obsessed with metal. And that was part of his whole being one with metal, was actually shoving it through the calf muscle.
Huh. And I guess like nose and ring piercings just wouldn't be enough for this guy.
Oh, definitely not.
It reminds me of this one episode of like Ripley's Believe It or Not, way back in like the early 2000s, where there's this guy who had like nothing but metal rings pierced all over his face and body, I think.
Don't most of the teenagers look like that nowadays anyway?
Let's see. Not many here, although I do see some pretty weird, outrageous hairstyles. Okay, definitely the ears. Definitely the ears. They do quite a lot of weird stuff here, down here with the ears.
That's what inspired Kevin Smith. He saw the Gothopotamus. Holy shit!
I'm just remembering the guy from Red Dwarf. Nigel. I'm nice.
Now, would it be much more awesome if instead of if the actor who played the villain turned out instead it was played by Wilford Brimley? Now listen here, I'd always dreamed of making myself into a walrus, and well, I'm only halfway there, so I'm doing these experiments on you kids, just so I can know I can truly be a walrus. Diabetes.
Speaking of the Wilford Brimley thing, I want to thank you guys, by the way, for engraving that in my brain. Because I actually popped off of that at work.
Oh, you're welcome. Like you're trying to concentrate, you're trying to work, and all you can hear is, "I was scared, wasn't afraid to die."
Well, no, I can't remember what my coworker said, but he said something, and I popped off with, "I was scared, I wasn't afraid to die." And then I stopped and realized, holy crap, I've been listening to these guys way too much.
No, when
Jeff Goldblum laugh song?
Laugh song?
Yes.
No, I haven't.
Oh my god, you guys gotta listen to it. It's really short.
All right.
Jeff Goldblum laugh remix. It's from Jurassic Park. Yep.
Also, remember when we came up with that phrase Canucksploitation?
Yes.
This is the very definition of Canucksploitation.
That's the video. You guys have to listen to it.
I'm listening to it right now.
As soon as my computer loads. Come on.
So you two, dig up dinosaurs?
What?
I love it. I really love the internet.
Hang on, right now I'm stuck watching an advert for a stupid Samsung.
What the? It gets to a point where it doesn't even sound like him anymore. He almost sounds like Heath Ledger.
I feel like the person on the commercial where the people send the thing to themselves on the phone, they're all laughing and he gets it later, then he laughs. Because it's not even loaded yet.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Oh, Is that you, Jacob?
I feel like my brain cells are slowly dying away. Oh, scared.
What a breaker die.
I was losing my ice cream. I was losing my apple pie. Are you in the middle of watching it, Jacob?
Yeah, like a minute into it.
I would totally dance to the song.
What's weird is that I would too.
Sounds like the shit they play in that old school dance. I wish they played this crap in my school.
And those kids would never know the difference between between what they play and what you would sneak up on there.
Yeah. Well, I snuck the This Is Sparta song once.
Oh yeah, this is Sparta.
I love that movie.
You'll always be one of my favorite remixes. It is like an internet classic, the Bed and Shooter song. He's climbing in your windows. He's snatching your people up. God, that was It's been like 4 years since that came out. God, dang, as time goes by. I mean, internet years. The Bed and Shooter song's now ancient. But
It's the This Is Sparta song.
oh my God, yeah, like 2007, yeah. So yeah, Tusk.
Getting back on track.
that fight, man. Like, so the crazy guy, he's trying to force Justin Long to be a walrus, and he tries to turn him into this Mr. Tusk walrus from this guy's not childhood, but like early adult life. And back in his early adult life, when he was stranded on an island with this walrus, this guy was forced to kill the walrus in order to survive until he was rescued. So he turned Justin Long into a walrus, thinks he is that same walrus, and then proceeds to have a quote-unquote fair fight with the walrus in order to atone for his sins.
Genius.
And he dresses up in his own makeshift Leatherface style walrus suit. And they both are just fighting each other, just smacking into each other, going.
Okay, I'm sold. I'm so gonna have to buy this.
Yeah, just two dudes in rubber practical effects walrus costumes made of human skin smacking into each other.
Now, is this an underwater fight or a surface fight?
It's a surface fight, but they're surrounded by water. It's like if it was like a SeaWorld like display where you got like water and the metal bridge and one little place where you would have like the fish there.
So like a Mortal Kombat arena.
Exactly, yeah. With the water kind of stirring, it's like a little moat, like ring around the arena.
My goodness, Ed Boon put this in the next Mortal Kombat game. The Walrus guy.
The walrus guy. No, you just have like Baraka, except instead of knives out of his arms, it's knives coming out of his mouth.
Why am I watching these movies? Why?
What's that? What's that, Adam?
Why do I keep watching these movies?
Because we recommend them to you.
God damn it!
Because you are a just sick and disturbed individual, just like us.
Should just die. Oh, that ending pissed me off.
So did I. So did I, because it made no sense, even within the context of the film. This contest made zero sense. And then I listened to the actual recording of the original Smodcast that plays during the credits.
Yes, yeah.
At which point, it all became clear to me. This was nothing but a joke. This came from a joke.
Yeah, it did.
No, it was never meant to be taken seriously. Just said, hey, we have money. F it. We're doing it. The fans said, yes, we're doing it. And playing it out straight. With the exception of the inspector.
No, what made him really good was that he was playing it straight. He was like, he's really into this, and then...
I don't know, because he was a straight-up cartoon character, whereas the other actors were actually trying to make a believable performance.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like the inspector, he's like the one thing that I wasn't a big fan of with this movie.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I feel like his scenes went on for way too long to the point where the joke okay, like, yes, I get it. I get the joke now. Can we please move on? No, stop. You're killing the jokes. Stop. Move on. But other than that, this this movie.
So he's sort of like the guy with the eye patch from Deep Sea Monster Rego.
Yeah, he's like a very over-the-top kind of personality, although he doesn't scream like the eye patch dude from Deep Sea Monster Rego. Rather, he's just like, he is literally Inspector Clouseau from the Pink Panther. I am here to catch the psychopath, this son of a bitch, this person who likes to cut people up, and I am here to catch him. Yeah, and the fact that again, Johnny Depp playing Inspector Clouseau. My head exploded when I learned that out. Oh, okay, Adam, do you remember those two girls at the convenience store?
Yes, of course.
Okay, one of them is Kevin Smith's daughter, and the other one, the other one is Johnny Depp's daughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tarantino produced it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Quentin Tarantino.
Tim Burton? That's amazing.
Well, let's see. Well, I think the goriest thing like Tim Burton's ever really done was like, as far as I know, Sleepy Hollow. But I don't think he tends to.
He's well known for doing stuff that's just weird.
Yeah, but never in a really like exploitative, gory sort of like way. Where it's like it's weird, but it's never disturbing. Like, okay, sometimes it's nightmare-inducing.
Like A Nightmare Before Christmas.
I don't think. Okay, yeah, that is like sort of. I can see how someone would get nightmares from that, but it's. I don't think Tim Burton ever really did anything like to this level. Maybe. Okay, you know what? Maybe if something like The Corpse Bride was in live action, then I could probably see it. Oh, Adam, so what were Bill's words after coming out of the film?
Sorry, can't talk.
Yeah.
Make it quick. I'm stoned. Well, apparently all is not well in Adam's part of the universe.
Now, where did I left my sanity?
Of course, next to the David Cronenberg collection.
Maybe it's like one of those Tusk is like check your brain at the door, and then he forgot to pick it up at the door.
I don't know. As much as it sounds like it elicited his love from him, it also sounds like it got an equal part of hate. Of course, that could just be because he's annoyed right now.
Yeah, and that is also the kind of reaction that I got as well, where it's like without the proper context, this is a bad movie. But it's like once you're in that mindset, then it all becomes clear to you.
So on a scale of like 1 to 10 on the messed up meter, where would this rank?
I haven't seen enough messed up stuff to know the full spectrum of weirdness, but I guess I would probably put it at, just to be safe, maybe at like a 7 or 8.
Fuck!
Perfect timing, Adam.
God damn it! Guys, I gotta go.
Aw, okay, man.
Okay, bye.
I might come back. I gotta go.
Well, actually, I think it's due to the time. I think we would probably have to wrap it up now, and maybe we can have like another episode dedicated, like a part 2. Maybe we'll even have like David on board.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, because
we gotta meet that dude.
yeah. Right now we have like an hour and a half of recording, so this would be perfect for to end this episode of Shuwatch Super Dynamic Ultra Force Go, where. Okay, so we had Jacob and I had a really nice conversation dealing with a whole bunch of stuff, and we had Adam here to give us his explain to us his experience and reactions to the film known as Tusk. So we hope that you have enjoyed this rather peculiar episode of Shuwatch Super Dynamic Ultra Force Go. I have been your host, Andres Perez, aka Kaiju Noir.
Did he leave? Is it just us? Adam?
Adam?
I gotta go. I'm sorry. I gotta go.
You want to say goodbye to the audience?
Bye.
That was that.
Whoever that man is.
A man of few words.
And this is Jacob K. Baker for Atomic Stick Figure.
So everybody, please remember to check out Jacob's YouTube channel, Atomic Stick Figure Productions, where he started his own podcast and is currently working on the fan film Godzilla X Gamera. He's already posted a couple of videos of the construction of the Primal Goji suit, as you call it. Yep. So he's definitely got stuff going on, and be sure to support him any way you can during the as this project progresses.
And just please feel free to drop by my YouTube channel because it gets so lonely.
Don't worry, you still got plenty of support from us, pal. So until next time, everybody, take care.
Bye!